right, here we go. It's another edition of Rock Talk with Bob Bannister right here on CGCM Rock Radio, what rock radio should be. A little bit of crossed wires over the past couple of days, but it's all worked out. We've connected ourselves now with Mick from the Art of Dysfunction all the way down in Perth, Australia. How you doing today, my friend?
Oh, great. Every day is a good day.
Absolutely. And it just seems so weird because I'm sitting here, it's nighttime here. I'm thinking about, maybe relaxing, watching a movie. You're just getting up and getting at it.
Yeah. It's absolutely bucketing down outside at the moment. So, we're just going into winter. So it's getting cold in the mornings.
And we're the opposite. We're going into summer. I just cut my lawn for the first time like 3 weeks ago.
Oh, I
It's
can't
Canada.
wait.
We shovel out from like 70 feet of snow.
Wow. All
so
right. Yeah, no, it's different to us. But
so tell us the story of Art of Dysfunction. How did this band come about?
uh, we'd have to go back a few years. I think it formed randomly. There was an ad online for it was a drummer that had put up an ad to start a band. Um, so I'd replied, said, yeah, sure thing. I was about 16, 17 at the time. And then hooked up, got a bass player, and we started chatting about the band. The drummer had to go in for emergency back surgery. So I never actually met this dude, but we found another drummer and got together. To make a long story short, those people, yeah, we jammed and had a lot of other people around, but the lineup changed uh, dramatically over the course of a few years. I think we did our first proper show in would have been 2018. I'm pretty sure, um, with a different lineup: singer, bass player, drummer, and myself. And then again, heaps of lineup changes, and we managed to grab Kyle, who's now a current bass player, lead vocalist. Um, and from there, we got a second guitar player, which was Ash. And then we swapped the drummer out for the current one, which is Royce. And yeah, so we've got a lineup that's working pretty good. But that was over the space of a few years. I think we got Royce in 2020. So current lineup's been pretty good and going pretty strong.
Absolutely.
Um, yeah.
And I have to say that your self-titled debut album, uh, it ranked right up there in my top 10 of 2023. Each of us DJs here at CGCM Rock Radio compile a list of our top 10 albums of the year, and then we throw that into the pot and we see where everybody ranked. You guys right up there for
Wow.
2023.
That's
Absolutely.
incredible.
Absolutely. So you're getting some spins here in North America, my friend.
That's great. Yeah, no, it's incredible to think that, a small band from Perth, we didn't really expect much, you know what I mean, coming from it. We'd thought it'd be a long time before we'd start to see a bit of progress, but it's doing really well. And yeah, we see a lot of analytics, and where the music gets played, and it's a real shock to see where it's doing well. Australia's music scene's a little bit uh tight for rock and roll bands, so to see that it's going well in certain parts of America and South America and Europe, it's overwhelming, but it's a really good feeling. Yeah, it's great, and thank you for playing it. Yeah.
Well, you're quite welcome. Now your latest single too, "Dare You to Be Mine," just that is an incredible single, and it's got a real '70s vibe to it. Did you set out to get that in there, or did it just kind of come about by happenstance?
um, yeah, it came out of nowhere. It was one of those moments of uh, I don't know how you call it, but it was pretty magical sort of time. I remember it was a Sunday, and it was just before the album was getting released pretty soon at this point. when it happened, and it'd been a big weekend, a lot of business, and that we'd had to deal with, and it was pretty stressful at the time. And got back home, and I remember just pulling out the guitar, and those few notes came out, and I went, "There's something there." And it was one of those easy sort of songs that the whole song just came in a matter of 10 minutes. You know what I mean? It's not a very complex sort of track, but it was just one that I felt like that we sort of needed. So I got it straight away to the band and rehearsed it a few times, and we played it for the first time at the launch of the album. And then from there, it sort of changed. And, once I got Kyle on the vocals and we added harmonies and all this sort of stuff, it sort of grew in its own way and became a bit ethereal. It was definitely something we were missing in the set. So it's definitely a welcome addition. But in terms of did we write it on purpose sort of thing to get that? No, it just came out of nowhere, really. But I'm pretty glad it did.
And it is, like I said, it's a great track. And now, is that like the you're quite welcome. Is that the your writing process? Everybody brings something to the table, or are you the primary songwriter and everybody just kind of adds little bits to it, or how does that work?
Well, I mean, it's sort of different for a lot of the songs on the album. They were written across that span of years that some of these guys weren't in the band. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So there was, but they went under a lot of surgery. You know what I mean? Over the years of different members brought different things to those songs. So even the songs that were written before the guys were before this current lineup was together, the songs have changed dramatically with their input. You know what I mean? So, but most of the time it'll be, I'll come up with the song and put it together. You know what I mean? And I try to put together a whole skeleton of the song, which goes for the duration. Bring it there, and then we can sort of change it from there. We find it easier to sort of go off if we've got a skeleton of the song already there, starting from scratch. Obviously, with our limited time, we've all got 9-to-5 jobs, so just found that to be the easiest way. And then in terms of vocals, Kyle's got the free reign, really.
And speaking of having Kyle on vocals, now every time I see a bassist fronting a band, and maybe it's because I'm a huge Thin Lizzy fan, it just goes right back to seeing Phil Lynott up there just hammering away on the bass and singing at the same time.
Yeah,
it's incredible. I love that stuff.
Yeah, no, he does it well.
Absolutely. Now the artwork for Dare You to Be Mine, that kind of reminds me of ELO a little bit. Was it? I saw that and I shared it. I shared it with one of my cohorts at the radio here, and they said that looks a lot like ELO. I'm like, it does, but it certainly doesn't sound like ELO.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, no, I think we had the idea of I was at a bar down south here in Perth playing a cover show with another band, and it was a proper, the name of the venue is called Gatsby Skyline. So it's a bar that's sort of made to look like a Gatsby's theme, with the lights so it's got like the now showing.
Right. Okay.
Big shining lights out the front, and I really liked it. Took a photo and sent it to our guy that does our artwork. His name's Jordan Fitzgerald, and I basically said, "This is the idea. What do you think?" And sort of he came up with that. I thought it looked cool. So that's how that came about.
Right on. But you were mentioning a few minutes ago there about the Australian music scene. Maybe it's just me, but it seems to me now lately there's been like a whole explosion of Australian bands. I mean, there's you guys. There is the Southern River Band, Mammal. I've just discovered them, and Cicada Stone. Just a plethora of great Australian bands coming out.
Yeah. There seems to be something happening. There seems to be a shift where there's the sons and daughters of people that dug that sort of all the rock and roll stuff that they'd sort of grew up on. There was a grey period where a lot of people weren't really playing that sort of stuff over here, but now there seems to be a lot more, and it's even people that are younger than we are, that are coming out and sort of doing that sort of thing as well. So it's good to see, definitely good to see, because it's definitely been missed.
Oh
But
yeah, definitely.
it's good to see that the floodgates are sort of starting to creep open over here, and they're starting to become more of a scene for it, starting to become more accepted in the general public sort of thing. Yeah, I can't say too much else. I think it's great. I think it's good that there's more bands doing it.
And you know what? I'm seeing it here in Canada as well. I interviewed a young lady here a few weeks ago, just very early 20s, and I mentioned to her that one of her songs on her album sounded a lot like Bronjar Stomp by Zeppelin.
All
And
right.
she just grinned from ear to ear. And she said, that's my all-time favorite band is Led Zeppelin. And she's like 20 something, like just a kid, and it's
Yeah,
just like,
yeah.
wow, this is so cool that the younger generation is discovering these great bands.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely a big supporter of that. I think people, should be more, inclined to open to listening to that sort of stuff and creating stuff like that. I mean, people like to go on a lot about if it's innovative these days. Well, I never really cared of how innovative it is, as long as it sounds good. You know what I mean? And it's
Yeah,
a good if it's got a good rhythm and people will tap their foot to it. That's all that matters. You know what I mean? I dig that.
absolutely. And a couple last questions here. Coming from Australia, and I know this is the a scourge of Canadian bands as well. Canadian bands always get compared to Rush and Triumph. You guys got to get compared to AC/DC a lot. There's some pretty big shoes to step into.
Yeah, they're definitely one of our biggest influences over here in Australia. I mean, they're among you know rock and roll fans. They're hailed as our bread and butter. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
everyone has a little bit of that in them. Like everyone knows all of their songs. It doesn't matter if they're all rock and roll fans or not. They've got no choice. It's always on the radio. So
Yeah,
yeah, they're definitely a big influence on us. It's yeah, for sure. The Australian bands like that, and there was a big influx in the '70s of great Australian rock and roll bands like the Angels and
oh yeah.
Rose Tattoo, even Cold Chisel. There's a lot of them, and we definitely try to draw a lot of inspiration from them because there is a unique Australian rock sort of sound, which is definitely something we'll try and lean into.
So then, who would you say is your ultimate influence when it comes to, like, say, your guitar playing?
Wow, that's yeah, for sure. Angus Young from ACDC. That's he's a definitely a big one, a big figure. And then probably a lot of the blues guys for myself personally, BB King, Freddie King, uh, even before that, Howlin' Wolf and Clapton, I guess. All the blues guys, we love all the blues licks, and I guess for the other guys, it's all just a lot of mainstream rock that we love and try to basically blend all our influences into the big melting pot, and it comes out the way it does, which I'm pretty happy that yeah.
Absolutely. Well, you guys have got an absolutely amazing sound, and hope to see you guys in Canada sometime soon. That'd be absolutely amazing to get you guys up here and playing some gigs up this way.
Yeah, no, definitely we'll try to in the future. We'll be looking at that pretty soon. So
Very cool.
hope to be there.
You guys heading back into the studio soon?
Yeah, yeah, got a new track underway, and that should be out hopefully by the end of the year, if not the start of next year. But we'll just see how it goes. Can't predict studio time. As soon as you say it's going to be an easy one to do, it turns out to be, it turns out to drag out.
That's the same way with radio stuff. Like, I do a lot of the the commercials and the sounders for the radio station here. And the guys will give me an order, say, hey, can you make this for me? And I was like, oh yeah, that's an easy one. 20 hours later, I'm like, oh, how am I going to get this done?
So, don't
So let's
jinx it.
that's right. So let's wrap up this interview here with something that I like to call this or that. It's just rapid fire questions. You give me your choice between a couple things here, and we'll go from there. All right. All right. So
Yeah, sounds good.
first up, tea or coffee?
Tea for sure. Not a
Summer or
coffee drinker.
no?
Nah.
Okay. Summer or winter?
Summer for sure.
Club gig or festival?
Ooh. Festival.
There you go. Beach or amusement park?
Oh, beach. Yeah.
And I think I know the answer to this next one. Vegemite or Marmite?
Vegemite for sure.
I got a lot of Brit friends who answer the opposite way, but and finally, pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Yeah, I'm a big fan. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Awesome.
I dig it.
Awesome. Hey, thank you very much, Mick from Art of Dysfunction, for joining us here on this edition of Rock Talk with Bob Bannister on CGCM Rock Radio. Why don't you give us a link to your socials?
Yeah, we'll do. Facebook, Instagram, listen to the songs on Spotify. Yeah, and we've got a video coming out, so you'll see it on YouTube, and yeah, basically anywhere you
Excellent.
like to listen to your stuff.